whenever you want to get started.
Okay. So first off, can you introduce yourself to us? What's your name, what year you're in, what you're planning on majoring in?
Sure. So I'm Kat. I am a third year, I just forgot what year I was in, a third year double major in math and economics. And I'm originally from Cary, North Carolina. I've lived all over the place, but spent about 6 years in Tokyo before I came to Chicago as well. So I went to high school over there. But I think that's it, yeah.
And what you're planning, oh yeah, okay, you told us everything. What can you tell us about your project? Do you have a name for it? What's the medium that you're doing it in?
Sure. So I'm doing it's called The Things I Felt. And it is a series of black and white film photographs. Just because when I've done photography for a couple of years now, only seriously for the last few. But in my second year, fall quarter, I took a black and white film photography class. That's where I started learning how to develop my own film. I learned how to sort of embrace black and white as a medium more than I had before. And before I'd shot a couple rolls of film, but I always felt like it was a little weird to give my rolls of film to someone else to develop because I'm kind of a control freak about the whole artistic process. I need to be doing everything myself. And so it's, I wanted to tackle sort of my own project on it as opposed to something that my professor was assigning to me.
Mm-hmm. And what is your favorite part of the artistic process?
I don't know if I have a favorite part as much as just, being able to, like I said, control the whole thing. I do like the feeling that I get when I'm sort of in this flow of, everything's working out with, I'm inspired, the model is doing really well, a lot of things working together in conjunction. So there's definitely kind of, flow that comes from that where you lose track of time and it's really nice. But definitely being able to go back and evaluate my own work and edit things, and which doesn't really take me that long, but it's something that I really enjoy doing. So,
what typically inspires you for your photography?
I look at a lot of other fashion photographers. I'm a big fan of portraits or pictures of people in general as opposed to just landscapes or things that are kind of more static. But I definitely have some photographers that I look for inspiration. There's this fashion photographer from Australia that I know called Narimi, who is a huge inspiration to me. And also one of my best friends in high school started to take a lot more pictures and start making her way sort of in the fashion photography industry, and she got signed to an agency when she went to college and things like that. And she was also inspired by the same photographer, so both of those people have had definitely a big influence on me as an artist.
Mm-hmm. Seems like you run in a pretty serious group of photographers that's very like high pace and stuff. Are you interested in pursuing this in the future at sort of the same level?
It's not, most of my friends aren't photographers. I do have a few that are really inspirational to me, of course, but I don't know if I would pursue it as a job. I sort of grew up around it because my dad is a big photography enthusiast, but he definitely does it as a hobby as well. And he's very adamant about his opinion that it's much more enjoyable when it's just a hobby and it's not your livelihood or a way to make a living. And I don't know if I'll ever pursue it seriously. It might be a side thing. It might be something that will definitely continue throughout my life, but I don't know if I would study it as a discipline.
Is your dad's photography the same type that you're interested in, black and white, or is it different?
No, my dad and I have really different styles, and it's kind of crazy because he mainly shoots digital, almost always in color, and I do too, but I kind of have experimented with a lot more different mediums. But I was influenced just because he knows a lot more about the technical aspects of photography. Like whenever I need advice on what lens to buy or, how to get this effect in my pictures, I usually go to him, but then I tailor his advice toward my own style. And then people will say, do you like your dad's photography? And I'd be like, it's kind of a hard question because I appreciate that he's good at what he does, but it's definitely not my style. And I think he would say the same about mine. I think that's sort of a thing that a lot of artists go through with each other. It's hard to say that you think someone's work is better than yours or not as good as yours because you just have such different opinions on what you're trying to produce. So.
And for your project, do you know where it's going to be displayed?
I'm still a little up in the air. I originally thought it was going to be in Logan. It might end up being in Reynolds just because I've heard Logan's space requirements are a little different, but
what do you hope people will take away from seeing your project?
Sure. So at the risk, this is probably going to sound really cliche, but photography for me is, I want to get beyond photography as sort of the classic interpretation as just a way to show people what's there, like what is in the scene or how someone looks. I think essentially I view art as kind of two different segments. There's a conversation between the artist and the work, and then there's a conversation between the work and the viewer, and they're pretty disjoint in my mind. So I don't need every viewer who looks at my work to take away something really profound from it. I just want it to evoke some kind of feeling, not just the idea of a feeling, but kind of the physical feeling itself.
Mm-hmm. And how do you feel as an artist and a student at the University of Chicago?
I think it's really nice to be able to balance it and to not have to study it in order to, as an academic discipline, in order to be able to participate through extracurriculars. And I considered doing a visual arts major or minor for a while, but I found that it wasn't really for me, because my interest in art is mainly actually just producing and physically doing art. It's not so much about reading about it or studying its history or having discussions about art. And so that's why I didn't study it. But I do think it's nice to be able to balance it, be able to study what you want to do academically and have it as an extracurricular.
Do you feel that the university has been supportive of your endeavors as an artist?
Definitely. I think there's a lot of ways that students can display their own work. Like I think my two main sort of avenues of artistic pursuit are fashion design and photography, and they definitely inform each other as well. But as for fashion design, I designed for Moda's show last year. I did FOTA's launch party last year as well, and then this year I wanted to tackle a photography project. So it's definitely a lot of ways in which students can show their art on campus and get support that way.
Mm-hmm. And what about the photo show are you most looking forward to?
What about the photo show? I'm a little sad to not be able to design for the launch party this year, because I decided I needed to choose one or the other. So I'm really excited to see what people are going to produce for the fashion show, because a couple of the designers who are doing it I've designed with in the past for Moda, so I'm really excited to see what they come up with.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any final thoughts or messages for our viewers? Or
not really. I just, I'm excited to pursue my project, and I hope they enjoy the pictures I have to show.
Okay. Right. Well, that's the end of our list of questions. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming
of course.
out here.
Yeah, no worries.